Good morning, everyone. Please remember to silence your cell phones. We have a roll call, Mr. Hart.
Member Brown,
Present.
Member Powell,
Present.
Member Chinovsky, Member Axelrod,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Mendelson,
Present.
Chairperson Goldenberg,
Present.
Town Attorney Rubin.
Present.
And just to be aware, that Harry Edwar showed up, but we sent him home. He was not feeling well, and I recommended that he go home. May we, please, so I am counting him as present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get started, I want to welcome David Axelrod back to home, back
Thank
to
you.
the planning board again. And hopefully this will be an enjoyable and
Always.
a time for all of us. I do have a change to the agenda that I'd like to recommend as 8A. I'd like to discuss, just to give you an update on Ingrid and my presentation to the commission. So let's make it 8A. And is there approval of the agenda as amended?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Swearing in of all the public, there is no one, so we can pass on that. And any public comment, which is not there, don't worry about it. All right. Is there any approval of the minutes of October 12th? Could I have and I'm, a vote, a motion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so approved. All right, unfinished business under 8A. On Tuesday, our illustrious town planner and I, our sidekick, presented to the commission our accessory marine facility recommendations to the commission. I think it went fairly well. There was a lot of information for them to digest all at one time that we spent months on. And they seem to be very receptive to it, or most of it. The biggest thing was the setbacks, which I had to re-explain to them, and they seem to understand that. And I think they are holding off doing anything for approvals or approval of the recommendations because some of the commissioners want to go back out on the marine boat and relook at what we had been talking about now that we have some specifics for them. I offered to go back out with them and or Ingrid to go back out with them if we're allowed, and that's up to the attorney Rubin, to be able to what we talked about. So that's where we're at this point. It's in the commission's hands. We said to them, if there's any issues, please come back to the planning board and we can adjust or recommend some additional additional things that they might want. I also suggested to them that right before they do any voting, maybe they want to have additional public comment now that it's going to be much more formalized. But other than that, that's where we were at that point. Anybody have any questions about that? Eileen?
Yeah, is there a copy of what you presented to read that we can get?
And here's Ingrid.
Yes. Let me pull this up.
I think it's on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, all the commission agendas and really every board agenda, planning board, it's all available on the town website. You go to the main website page, on the top, you'll see an item, agenda and minutes. You click on that and you'll have the whole gamut of every board meeting. You could click on there's an agenda, and then there's an agenda packet. So all of that is available on the website.
So,
All right, yeah, but if you look at the last handout that Ingrid gave us, that whole right side is what we presented. It was nothing else other than that.
Is it possible for
To
that
get a,
email?
right. We get the
Sure.
email of that, yeah.
Sure. You know, the old cut and paste that you sent me? If you just want to
Yeah,
cut out,
that's what's on the website.
Oh, it's
but
on,
if-
that's on the website.
Oh,
Okay,
that
great.
was on the agenda memorandum, the table.
Then I'm
Yeah.
great.
If you
Okay.
have any problem finding it on the
Yeah, no,
website,
I won't.
by all means, call
Okay.
me and I'll
Right,
email
if
it to
not,
you,
I
but
have a copy
everything's
I can
available on
send
the
you.
website, yeah.
and it's basically, it was just the whole right-hand side of the chart that she presented to us, that we basically turned around and presented to
Right.
them.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? Let's move on then to 9, new business. An ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Highland Beach, Florida, amending section 30-7 official zoning map of the Town Code of Ordinances to update information pertaining to the date of the most recent amendment, the town's official zoning map as set forth in ordinance number 2022-002, providing for the repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for serviceability and codification, and providing an effective date. I refer to our town planner, Ms. Allen.
Okay, good morning. So this ordinance is purely administrative in nature. Starting on page 9 of your packets, I provided you a history as to how we got here. And I'll just give a quick summary for anyone who may be listening to the meeting. So back in 2021, we got well, I should say the Palm Beach County Property Appraiser came in contact with the town and indicated that per their records, there were 3 parcels in the Boca Cove development that didn't have a zoning district. And every parcel needs to have a zoning district and a corresponding future land use designation. And of those 3 parcels, one of them didn't have a corresponding future land use designation. So staff, we did, quite a bit of research. It turns out that it was really a Scrivener's error. There was different changes in formatting of the maps, and, maps are changed and some things are lost. And again, it was purely a Scrivener's error. When I looked back at the previous ordinances, all of Boca Cove was zoned residential multifamily low density. Every other parcel in there is zoned that way, but for some reason, those 3 parcels just didn't have a zoning. So the parcels were rezoned from no zoning district to the residential multifamily low density. That ordinance was adopted by the commission on January 18, 2022, and the planning board, you all provided a recommendation on December 9th of 2021. Now, as I said, there was also a future land use change, and when you do a future land use change, there's a map in the comprehensive plan that has to be changed. There's a little bit more work involved. Try not to get into too much detail, but to make a long story short, the change to the future land use map to correct that other Scrivener's error was adopted by the commission on September 6th of 2022. We had to deal with the state. There were a lot of hurdles there, but it was finally adopted. And since September, really, we've been working months and months with our GIS consultant. We don't have anybody in-house. So we had to change the map, and you could see it on page 11. This is a new zoning map. So the map now reflects those 3 parcels. They have the proper zoning district. We've gone ahead and changed the logo since the last map was adopted. There was the old logo. I provide you the previous map. It's on page 15. Yeah, it's the current map. Again, has that old logo. And why I initially said this is purely administrative, because we have a provision in our code, which is again it's on page 10 of your packets, section 30-7. If you look at the wording of that provision, it calls out not only the date of the adoption of the zoning map, but the ordinance number. So we have we need to update that, right? Based on the adoption of the rezoning that the commission approved. So that's why I say it's purely administrative. Again, the rezoning was adopted, the future land use map amendment was adopted. Now we just have to change the code so that everything, kind of matches. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I'm happy to address any questions. And again, you'll be making a recommendation. Ordinances obviously have to get approved by the commission. So.
Anybody have any questions? Eileen?
So can you just orient me, because this is very tiny and I don't see any addresses. I don't see the addresses. It's very small. Okay, the HOA of what? Okay, is this all related to Boca Cove?
Yeah, these were the parcels that were changed for the Boca Cove development.
Okay, so it's only Boca
Right,
Cove.
again, the issue is
Right,
not
and we
whether
had
you
the
want to
corner
adopt the
property
ordinance.
and
Pardon?
we had like a corner property that was,
I got it.
Yeah, it was the one on the corner
Right.
there, and then there was, I think,
Yeah.
two and, there, it was the main road and, another
and then
unit,
just
one
off of that,
particular
where the
unit.
arrow is.
Yeah, again, the question, right, you could see on the last page,
The color
19,
map.
I call out which are the properties. But
Right,
again, the item before you is not about should we adopt this rezoning? That's already been done. This is just the administrative part of
To-
it, component of it, that we now have to change the code to to document an ordinance, an adoption date that's already been done.
and,
There's
and
no-
that's, it's our recommendation to the commission.
Okay.
Jason, do you have a?
No, it's one of the most contentious topics you can address in the planning board. And I just want to make sure the charge to us is to affect the recommendation to change as well. Clear.
Yeah,
Yeah, just a-
absolutely.
it-
It's a change to the code. It's again, if you look on page 10, I provide you the section of the code that you're going to make a recommendation on. It's 30-7. So you'll see that the current language, I should say the new language, I've provided an underline. So you'll see that the new ordinance that adopted the rezoning of those 3 parcels is now documented in in this code section. So it's ordinance number 2022-002. The previous ordinance that adopted the zoning map was 594. So that's no longer applicable. So we struck through that. And then we put the new adoption date of that ordinance, 2022-02 to January 18th of 2022, whereas the previous ordinance was adopted in August 22 of 1990. So that's struck through. So,
All right.
you know what? I've worked in other municipalities
Yeah,
and not everyone has a section of the code like this, where you have to constantly change the code every time you adopt a a change to the zoning map. We have large municipalities that do a lot of rezoning, so they typically don't have a code section like this. When I worked in Boca, we didn't do this. We would just update the maps, accordingly. But here you have the regulation, so we're, changing it and updating it accordingly.
So formally, what we're basically not rezoning, we
Correct.
are so that's the big part. We are not rezoning.
That was already done.
Correct.
It's already
Okay.
been adopted.
Well, all we're doing is formally recommending to the commission that they accept this new ordinance.
Right, that they, just a revision to the existing ordinance, code that we have with regards to the official zoning map.
Is there any other question? Yeah, we're
Yeah.
just.
It's not
fixing-
really so much a Scrivener's errors, just things have
Just-
changed, right? We adopted a new map because we had to apply the proper zoning to those 3 parcels. So we technically have a new zoning map. So therefore, we now have to change our code to reflect the new zoning
Okay.
map. That's all. Again, as I said, it's purely administrative.
So bottom line is, we're adding new zoning map to the code. Is that correct?
Changing.
Or
Change-
Yeah,
just
the numbers are-
reflecting the new zone map in the code.
I'm sorry, I think Len just,
Oh, no, I was just saying, all it does is it acknowledges the new zoning map in the code. That's it.
yeah, the zoning map has already been adopted. It's just the language in the code needs to be changed. That's all.
Do we
it
need a
is.
formal vote, roll call vote?
You need a motion.
May we have a motion to accept?
Second.
All right. No, we have to do a roll call. Go ahead. Please, Mr. Hart. You're on.
Member Powell?
Yes.
Member Chanowski?
Yes.
Member Brown? Member Axelrod?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Mendelson?
Yes.
Chairperson Goldenberg?
Yes,
Motion carries. Thank you.
there we go. That was one of the easier ones.
It's very
Ingrid.
straightforward. Very simple.
Okay, let's move on. Announcements. November 10th, 2023, Town Hall closed in observance of Veterans Day. November 12th, 2023, 1 p.m. Code Enforcement and the board's regular meeting. November 21st, at 1:30 p.m. Town Commission meeting, December 5th at 1:30 p.m. the Town Commission meeting, and then we all meet back here December 14th at 9:30 a.m. for the planning board's regular meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Have we set the dates for next year yet?
Not yet, but I think we do that in December.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.